general manager of the Detroit Red Wings. Ken, will you come forward, please? I'm excited for you to hear Ken. Every time I get a chance to talk to him, he's inspired me. Ken Holland enters his 20th season as general manager of the Red Wings, his 34th year with the organization. He's arguably the most successful general manager in all professional sports since ascending to the role. Since Holland was appointed to his current position in July 1997, the Red Wings have more wins than any other franchise in the National Hockey League. Under Holland, yeah, woo, yeah, that's right. Under Holland's watch, the Red Wings have won 3 Stanley Cups, 4 President's Trophies, 10 Central Division titles, and 5 regular season Western Conference titles. Detroit has qualified for the Stanley Cup playoffs in 18 of 19 seasons under Holland's tutelage. May I introduce to you Mr. Ken Holland.
Before I begin, we missed the playoffs, so we got some work to do here. President Boyers, Board of Trustees, faculty and staff, and most importantly, class of 2017, congratulations, this is a fabulous day. My wife Cindy and I, fortunate to have 4 children that graduated from university, so we've sat out in the, with the parents and in support of a fabulous day like this. And I think that one of the things is important for the graduates to remember is for you to be here today, those people back there, your family, your friends, they've supported you financially, emotionally, they give you guidance, helped you, give you advice on the challenges, and you've done all the work. But certainly, I think as some point in time here in the next day or so or today, make sure that you thank those people that helped make this happen for you. What I like to do is tell you some stories and things that are important to me and things that I believe in and have helped me along the way to become, I'm 61 years old to get to where I am today. In 1985, I played 9 years of pro hockey. I was a minor league goaltender. We had 3 kids, born in 81, 83, and 84. Our 4th came in 1989. Got a call from Jim Devellano, the manager of the Red Wings, saying that my contract expired, they were not going to re-sign me. 29 years of age, got grade 12 education, and played hockey. My wife was a nurse. We met when I played junior hockey. And it was a time in our life in May of 1985, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? I had a job at the Vernon Liquor Store, Vernon, British Columbia, small little town, about 30,000 where I'd grown up. For the summer up until Labor Day weekend, my wife had a job at the hospital. We'd been talking, and we were deciding that I was going to go back to school, get a degree, and Cindy was going to put me through school. One day I come home from the liquor store. Cindy's got her 3 kids up at Lakeview Pool, and my mom says to me, Ken, what are you going to do? You know, I've been hearing that you're not going to get a hockey job. What are you going to do? And I laid out the plan to her, and she says, Ken, you're 29 years of age, you got 3 young children, you got to be the breadwinner in the family. And I said, Mom, I got grade 12 education, all I know is hockey, and it's not there anymore. She says, Ken, in the Vernon News today, Electrolux vacuum cleaners are looking for a salesman in this area. I called the 800 number, the job is open. She said, I've used an Electrolux vacuum my entire life, it's the best vacuum on the market. And she said, you get 40% of every sale. She says, you got the gift to gab, it's a great product. And she says, I'm your first sale. Before I can say anything, she says, I talked to Grandma Eastrecht, who lived 5 doors down, she's your second sale. So I said, any idea the status of Aunt Emma's vacuum? Because she was living 2 doors down. She said, well, Ken, she's family. You know, I'm sure she'll pitch in. So I kind of was intrigued by this Electrolux vacuum cleaner sales business. And then I started thinking, I got to start going door to door to door to door to door. And fortunate for me, a couple of days later, as I'm kind of deciding what I'm going to do, the phone rang. It was Jim Devellano, the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings, and they were looking for a scout in Western Canada. Offered me the job, got off the phone, I talked to Cindy. We had spent 9 years, you know, every 6 months, you know, you jump in a U-Haul in early September, you drive to training camp, and you're somewhere from September until April, May, you jump in a U-Haul, you go back home. So Cindy wanted to settle down, get some roots, get a job, and she wasn't thrilled with me entertaining the thoughts of getting back into hockey, being on the road, being a scout. And we talked a little bit, and I finally made the decision that I was going to pursue my passion. I think that's one of my messages to you today, you graduates, is find your passion, pursue your passion. And sometimes it doesn't come along when you're at this stage in your life, but keep remember what your passion is. I chose to accept the job as the Western Scout of the Detroit Red Wings, and here I am today, many years later. Never really worked a day in my life. Have done played in hockey. When I accepted the job, Jimmy D said to me, "Ken, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of advice." And this is 1985, and I'm going to give you the same advice. I think it still relates today. I'm going to tell you some stories. Number 1, he said, "Ken, know your business." He said, "Number 2, work hard. Number 3, get along with people." He told me that in 1985, and I think that it still it relates today. Know your business. Now, what does know your business mean? To me, it means attention to detail. Be on time. Be prepared. When we have meetings and I call scouts in, or I meet with an agent to negotiate a contract, you got to go in, you got to do your homework, and you got to be prepared. Attention to detail. I'm going to give you a couple stories. Scotty Bowman. I got the good fortune to work with Scotty Bowman for 8 years. I think he's the greatest coach in the history of the National Hockey League. Has all the most wins he became a rookie coach in 1967 of the expansion team St. Louis Blues. I think he was 27 or 28 years of age. Most of the players on the team were older than him. They were 33, 34 to about 40. Go on the first road trip, and he tells the team, "There's a curfew tonight at 11 o'clock. They're on the road." About 10:45 that night, he goes down, he talks to the bellhop at the front desk, and he says, do you work night shift? He says, "Yeah, I work till 7 o'clock tomorrow morning." He says, "Do you like hockey?" "I love hockey." He says, "Mr. Bowman, I know who you are. I'm so excited to have the St. Louis Blues at the hotel tonight." He says, "Would you like to get some of the players' autographs?" He says, "Yeah, I'd love that idea." And he says, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be back down in 5 minutes. I've got a Glen Hall goal stick up in my room. I'll bring it down, and I'm going to bring a marker and get some autographs." So Scotty comes down at 5 to 11. Curfew's 11 o'clock. And Scotty says to the young man, he says, when the players come in tonight, get their autographs, get them to sign get some autographs. And they're good. They love to sign. They're good. And he says, "What time do you work till?" And he says, "I work till 7. He says, "Well, I get up early. I'll come down at 6 o'clock, see if you've got any autographs." So Scotty comes down at 6 o'clock in the morning, and 12 guys had come in after 11 o'clock. They'd sign their name. Scotty took the stick to the morning skate and told the players that anybody name that was on the stick was fined $100 for missing curfew. Attention to detail. In 1998, I'm the general manager. Scotty's the head coach. We're playing the Dallas Stars in the first round of the playoffs. Actually, I think it's the third round of the playoffs. The first 2 games are in Dallas. Series is tied 1-1. We're coming home for game 3. They finished higher than us in the standings. And the home team skates at 10:30. Red Wings skate at 10:30. We're off at 11:15. The road team skates from 11:30, 12:15. They're off. 12:30, I'm sitting in my office. Scotty Bowman calls. He says, "Ken, come down here right now. I want to show you something." So I go down, and Scotty and I are on the bench in Joe Louis Arena, and he says, "Ken, you see that overhead camera? It's under the scorecard. I don't know if you've ever been to Joe Louis. It's a little overhead camera. I don't know if it's ABC or ESPN has got this overhead camera for a view of the ice." And he said, "Ken, that overhead camera's Advantage Dallas, and we got to get that thing down." I said, "Scotty, how's that Advantage Dallas?" And he says, "I'll tell you how it's Advantage Dallas." He said, Matt Tkachuk and Hatcher play 30 minutes on defense for Dallas, and when they're under pressure in their own zone, they shoot the puck off the glass and into the neutral zone. Lidstrom and Murphy play 30 minutes for us, and when they're under pressure, they like to flip the puck in the air. The puck is going to hit that overhead camera. It's going to be a face-off in our zone. Dallas is 62% on the face-offs. We're 48. Dallas is going to win the face-off, and they're going to get a scoring chance. That overhead camera's Advantage Dallas, and I want it down now. So I didn't really know what to do. It was my first year being the general manager. I sort of fumbled around. Next thing you know, there's 10, 12 people there. There's league people, rink people. I sort of snuck out, and as I went up to the My press box seat at 7:30 that night for the game, there was no camera. He caught such a fuss that the overhead camera was down. Attention to detail. Attention to detail. One last Scotty Bowman story. We honored Scotty Bowman at the general manager meeting a few years ago, and Doug Risebrough played on his Montreal Canadian teams. And for you those that don't follow hockey, in the 70s, the Montreal Canadiens, I think, won 5 straight Stanley Cups. One year they lost 6 or 7 games. They were a powerhouse of powerhouses, maybe the best powerhouse in the history of the National Hockey League. So they've got a young player, Murray Wilson, that lots of potential. He's on the team. The season starts, they're playing. Murray's playing. Everything's going good. Murray gets hurt. He's out of the lineup. And there's no overtime back then. The team goes 9 wins, no losses, and 2 ties. They're undefeated in 11 games. Murray's out of the lineup, but Murray's healthy now. He's ready to go. Murray's friends with some of the veteran players. So Murray goes to the veteran players the last couple of games, and he's asking them to shill on his behalf to the assistant coaches to get him into the lineup. The veterans go to the assistant coaches, and the word gets up to Scotty that they want, the players want, some of the vets want Murray Wilson in the lineup. So morning skate, Scotty blows the whistle. Everybody comes in. He says, it was brought to my attention that Murray Wilson is healthy, ready to play. Murray, healthy? Murray nods, he's ready, he's healthy, he's ready to play. And he said, we haven't lost in 11 games. I don't like to change a winning lineup. He said, I'm looking for volunteers. I'm looking for someone to volunteer tonight to sit out so that Murray Wilson can play. Are there any volunteers? There was no volunteers. Murray, is there any volunteers? No volunteers. Murray, you're out tonight. So it was Scotty's way of showing the players who was the boss. And again, for me, it was another attention to detail. And there's a reason why Scotty Bowman was as successful as he was. He obviously coached great players, but it was attention to every detail. So as you leave here and you get into business world, attention to detail, preparation. Work hard. What does work hard mean? What does work hard mean to me? Work hard means, again, be on time. You've shown determination to get here today. You've dealt with challenges. You've dealt with adversity. You've sacrificed to get here today. You've dealt with the challenge and adversity. I think of Pavel Datsyuk coming to Detroit in 2001, and Pavel's one of the greatest players that ever played for the Detroit Red Wings. Sure, we'll have a conversation about whether his jersey should go up in the rafters or not. When Pavel Datsyuk came to Detroit in 2001, he didn't speak a word of English, not one word. Couldn't understand English, couldn't speak English. Can you imagine going to another country and not being able to speak, not being able to communicate at all, and to try to go and be successful? And for 2 years, Pavel took English lessons to learn how to communicate. So, and he went on, obviously, to become, like I said, he won a number of awards in the National Hockey League for the best defensive forward. Lady Bings, a great player. His determination to overcome adversity allowed him to fulfill his full potential. In 2002, we're playing, it's the Olympic year. Steve Yzerman plays for Canada in the Olympics in February. He's got bone on bone. When the Olympics are over, he comes back. He doesn't play a game for the next 7 weeks till the end of the season. He's got bone on bone. He's trying to let the flaring down. And game 1 of the playoffs, our team doctors give him some painkiller, but they give him the painkiller after warm-up. Played the game, and he was in such pain that he wasn't sure that he was going to play another game. Game 2, they decided they were going to give him painkiller before warm-up to give so that it had more time to work. It worked, and he played game 2, and we don't beat Vancouver without Steve Yzerman leading the way and scoring a huge goal in game 3 in Vancouver. At the end of that playoff, we won the Stanley Cup. He played for 8 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks after, he had an osteotomy surgery, which realigns your bones so that there's no cartilage. He's got bone on bone. It was to try to get some cartilage on cartilage. Perseverance, determination. To be successful in business, to be successful in life, you're going to deal with some challenges and adversity, dig in and battle through it. I think, one of the things, the NHL entry draft is the last weekend in June. We draft players now that are born in 1999 or late 1998. 18, 19-year-old players. and they've got lots of potential. They're much like you were probably before you started going to Cleary. I feel it's our organization's role to educate them, to guide them, to support them, to show them what they need to do to be successful as young professional athletes. And after 3 or 4 years of that, when they get to be 22, 23 years of age, it's then an opportunity for them to try to make the National Hockey League and take somebody's job. So I deal with young people on an everyday basis, and it's an up and down. Life isn't smooth. You're going to deal with adversity. You're going to deal with challenges. I think the most important thing is to you can deal with your attitude. Have a great attitude every day you go to work. And I know when you go to work and you're dealing with people in work that are positive and upbeat and love their job, it rubs off on the other people that you work with, and it comes back to you in spades. So that would be working hard for me. Getting along with people, what does that mean? It means to me building relationships, networking. I had one of my daughters graduated with an MBA in McGill about 6, 7, 8 years ago, and so I said to her, "What are we going to do now? How are we going to go about getting a job? You know, this is great. We got a degree. How are we going to get a job?" And, "Well, Dad, I'm going to be online, and I'm going to send out a lot of emails, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that." And I said, "Julie, I might be old-fashioned. Let's meet some people. Let's get some FaceTime and let's meet some people." And I think that's going to help. And I got a story in 2000. I'm the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings. We land in Colorado. We're going to play the Colorado Avalanche the next night. That's our rival, Colorado and Detroit. Phone rings in my hotel room about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and this young man's name is Ryan Martin. He says, "Mr. Holland, my name's Ryan Martin. I'm working here for Kurt Overhart, who's an agent. I've just left law school, and I'm working as an intern, and I'd like to meet some NHL people. Can I meet you for lunch?" I said, "I'll meet you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Come over at 1 o'clock. We spent lunch from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Many of these things that we're talking about now, you know, networking, build a resume, grind, compete, pursue your passion, never forget about your passion. Those are all the things that we talked about in that meeting. And we went our separate ways. It's 2000. In 2005, we've had a work stoppage. There's no hockey for an entire year, and now we're coming out of a work stoppage, and I'm talking to Kurt Overhart. He's got Mark Mowers, who's one of our players, and we're starting to negotiate a contract. The league is going to start up, and he says, "Ken, are you looking for anything?" And I said, "Yeah, there's a salary cap now, and there's a CBA, and I need a lawyer. I need somebody in the front office. Jim Nill, my assistant manager, and I need somebody in the front office that knows the rules and knows where to get the rules." And he said, "I got a young guy that used to work here. He left here. He went to Hartford to work, but I know his passion's hockey. His name is Ryan Martin." Ryan Martin flew over. We interviewed him. I hired Ryan Martin 5 years later after I'd met him for an hour. Ryan Martin today is my assistant general manager. He's going to be in the National Hockey League for the rest of his career. Ryan would be mid-40s. Might have an opportunity to be an NHL general manager. And networking, reaching out and trying to meet somebody, pay dividends for Ryan. I believe, I'm a big believer in mentors and role models, and I'm sure that you were probably, if you were in school here, you were mentors and role models to some freshmen or to some sophomore. But as you leave and you go into business, you know, I think back to the impact that Steve Yzerman had on Zetterberg's career, and we had talked about, I just mentioned Pavel Datsyuk. He sat on a bus every road trip beside Igor Larionov, and Igor Larionov would tell him where to go and what to do, and while he was learning the English language. Mike Vernon mentored Chris Osgood. Chris Osgood mentored Jimmy Howard. My mentors were Scotty Bowman and Jim DeVillano. For me, it was like going to Harvard of hockey. They took me under their wing, and they helped me understand the business, and they let me go and do some things, and they kept me until the time that I was ready to do it on my own. That's what I've tried to do for Ryan Martin, Jim Nill, my assistant general manager, now the general manager in Dallas. So as you go out, it's important. Some of these role models and mentors are going to be people in your family, or your cousins, or your mom, or your dad, or your sister. Some are going to be in business. Hopefully somewhere along the line, somebody's going to take you under their wing and give you some tips on how to be successful in business. And as you go along and you gather experience, it's going to be your opportunity down the road to be a role model and a mentor for somebody else. So that's basically my message. You graduates have learned and experienced many things in your time at Cleary University. You've accomplished many great things already, and there's many great things to come. Cleary University has prepared you for success. You will not remember who the commencement speaker was, me, but I'm hoping you remember 3 things. Know your business. When you get a business, know your business. Spend extra time, learn your business. Learn all you can about your business. Obviously, work hard. And number 3, get along with people, and it'll come back to in spades. Good luck to you as you all pursue your passion. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ken. I think all that fits in with also be authentic. And Ken, you are truly authentic. You are who you are, and I think that's why you've been successful as well. At this time, I would like to ask Trustee Cleary and the faculty marshals to come to the podium to assist in the presentation of the honorary doctorate.